What Toto Wolff has just revealed about Lewis Hamilton is nothing short of jaw-dropping. Forget everything you thought you knew about Hamilton's struggles at Ferrari, because the truth, as exposed by the man who built his empire at Mercedes, is far more unsettling, far more personal, and far more damning than anyone expected. This isn't just a story about a car that's not fast enough. It's about a driver losing his edge, a team struggling with identity, and a project that was meant to change everything now threatening to unravel before our eyes. Wolff hasn't just pointed fingers. He's exposed the cracks, the brutal cultural mismatch, the absence of rhythm and synergy, the internal confusion at Maranello that's slowly draining the spark from one of the greatest drivers the sport has ever seen. And the most terrifying part? This is all happening at the very start of what was supposed to be Ferrari's glorious new era. What's unfolding right now isn't a rough start. It's a full-blown crisis, a reality check for Ferrari, a wake-up call for Hamilton, and possibly the early signs of a legacy slipping through the cracks. When the man who knows you best starts questioning what's gone wrong, it's time to pay attention. So before we unpack every explosive detail of what Toto Wolff just revealed, the car, the culture, the loss of mojo, and what this all means for Hamilton's future in red, do us a massive favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and stay with us until the very end of this video. Because what's happening at Ferrari right now could define not just a season, but the final chapter of Lewis Hamilton's Formula One legacy. What Toto Wolff just revealed about Lewis Hamilton is brutally honest, deeply personal, and, quite frankly, shocking. When asked directly about Hamilton's painful start to life at Ferrari on the Bloomberg Hot Pursuit podcast, Wolff didn't sugarcoat a thing. He didn't deflect. Instead, he offered a raw, three-part diagnosis of exactly what's going wrong for his former star driver. And it starts with a word no Formula One champion ever wants to hear: adaptation. You don't unlearn driving that quickly, Wolff began, defending Hamilton's talent with conviction. In 2021, he was great. Wolff didn't hold back on what that challenge entails. Everybody needs a period of adaptation. Different car, different DNA in how the vehicle drives, a new engineering team that you need to start working together. It's not just the hardware, it's the environment, the systems, the synergy. And right now, none of it is clicking. But it was Wolff's second point that truly raised eyebrows: culture. It's an all-Italian team, and he's a British guy parachuted in there, he said. And those few words carry enormous weight. Because behind the scenes, F1 isn't just about carbon fiber and horsepower. It's about communication, trust, flow, rhythm. And for Hamilton, that rhythm doesn't exist yet at Ferrari. At Mercedes, he knew every nuance of every department. He could read a team meeting like a book. He had relationships that ran deeper than data, deeper than telemetry. Relationships that delivered world titles. At Ferrari, he's a guest in someone else's house. Respected, of course, but fully integrated? Not yet. That lack of deep-rooted connection is now showing on track. Delayed feedback loops, confusing strategy calls, subtle but costly execution errors. In Formula One, milliseconds matter. And right now, Ferrari are losing tenths to process, not performance. Then came Wolff's third, and perhaps most honest observation: mojo. We've seen a bit of a pattern, he admitted. Lewis, at the beginning of the season, needs to find his mojo, and the second half of the season has always been very strong. So don't ever write Lewis off. But here's the problem. It's already June, and that mojo still hasn't arrived. You can hear it in Hamilton's voice. You can see it in his body language. And you could feel it after the Canadian Grand Prix, where he sounded as defeated as we've heard him in years. When asked about Ferrari's upcoming upgrades, Hamilton replied, "We're really in need of an upgrade, and there's a lot of things that need to change for us to compete at the front." That wasn't frustration, that was fatigue. And when asked how much those upgrades might help, his answer was even bleaker. "I don't know if it's much. I don't know how much it is. I don't think it's going to be a lot. So it's just one of those years." But this was not supposed to be one of those years. This was supposed to be the beginning of something iconic. The story of Formula One's most successful driver breathing life back into the sport's most legendary team. Instead, it's become a story of misalignment, disappointment, and a rising sense of dread. Fred Vasseur, to his credit, is trying to calm the storm. He's confirmed that Ferrari are planning an upgrade before Silverstone, maybe even in time for Austria. "We will have an upgrade soon before the UK and perhaps another one a bit later," he told the media. Then he added something that almost contradicted the optimism. "Honestly, today I think there is much more in the execution and what you are getting from the car than in the potential of the car itself." Let that sink in. Ferrari's team boss is admitting that the problem isn't even necessarily the car, it's the ability to extract performance from it. And that's a terrifying admission. Because if your tools are good, but your team can't use them properly, you're not going to win anything. For Hamilton, who has spent his career demanding precision, rhythm, and absolute clarity in execution, this is not just unacceptable, it's painful. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc, who knows the internal language and tempo of Ferrari, continues to deliver more consistent results. He isn't dominating, but he's extracting more from the same car. And in the eyes of the media, that contrast is damning. Because it doesn't just look like a driving issue, it looks like a fit issue. And that's where the fear begins to grow. Because the move to Ferrari was about more than 2025. It was about 2026. About a new generation of power units. About building a legacy that could rival even the Mercedes years.